Here we do. Today we figure out if we can actually beat Pokemon Black with only a Zangoose. Zangoose is pretty good. We get thrown into two rival battles back to back pretty fast, and we can see his power or her power right away because she takes down Bianca's Oshawott really fast, which is really good. Charon hits us, and then we get to battle him, and he has a Tepic, which is going to become an Ember later, and that's going to be a problem for Zangoose, who is a normal type, whilst Ember is actually a fighting type. But for now, he takes down Tepic with 3 scratches, just like he or she did with Oshawott. They can barely take they can barely do any damage to her. Next up, we get to the next town and we get to battle in our third rival. And he starts off with a Purloin who can barely do anything to us. We're still level 5. I didn't really level Zara here up in between the battles, and we take him out pretty easily with a few scratches. Next up, we are attacked by Bianca again. She wants to battle again, and she has a Lillipup now. We didn't heal before the battle, but the Lillipup goes down into scratches pretty easily. And then she has a Oshawott which still can't do much to me. I just take it down with 2 scratches pretty easily. I didn't even have to heal up for this one. And then we have to battle Charon again, because he just doesn't want to leave us alone. There are a lot of rival battles in black and white. His Tepi goes down in 2 scratches, or in 3 scratches. His berry activates, so that heals him up a little bit, but he eventually goes down. He then has a Purloin that goes down pretty easily with 2 scratches before it can actually do any damage to me. Next up, we battle Chili, which was the rival battle here. Or the rival battle, the first gym battle. The game picked up Chili because it thinks that we picked up Snivy. But yeah, he starts off with Lillipup. Lillipup goes down pretty easily before it can do a lot of damage to us. It can barely do any damage to me before it goes down, which is good. But next up is Pansy at level 14. We are level 11. We are a little bit under level for this, but it goes for a World Cup, then Incinerate. It barely does any damage to me, and it eventually goes down pretty easily in 3 scratches. Next up was another Charon battle because, like I said, there are a lot of rival battles in this game. And he starts off with the level 14 Tepic. I'm level 13 and I'm not healed up. But Tepic can't really do anything to me just yet because it's not evolved and it's still just a fire type and not a fire and fighting type. So it goes down pretty easily. And next up is Purloin. That doesn't even have fake out yet, so it goes down pretty easily before it can take me out, even though I live on only 3 health. Next up we have to battle N again, and N has a pretty easy team again. He has a Pidove that can't really do anything to me. He has a Timber. Timber is actually a fighting type, but it doesn't hurt me because it goes down in 1 hit only, because Zara here is just way too strong for him. And last but not least is the Timple, and it goes down pretty easily before it can actually do anything to us, and we learn Slash. So we finally have a better move than Scratch. Next up was the gym leader Lenora, and we battle her pretty easily here. It did take me a few tries to beat her, because she does have a pretty strong team and she starts with Intimidate. But at level 19 I beat her pretty easily because I got 2 crits in a row, so that was pretty nice. Next up was Gym Leader Borg, and this one took a few tries too. His Whirly Pit is not a problem, it goes down into slashes. It can poison me potentially, or it can't even poison me because my ability is immunity, so I can't get poisoned, which is really helpful. His level takes a little bit to take down because it's a rock type, and that can be really annoying to take down, but it eventually goes down. I don't want to learn Embargo because Embargo is pretty much useless. And last but not least, he has a Livani which goes down in 3 slashes really easily before it can actually do too much damage to me. It goes for Razor Leaf, but I keep going for Slash. It protects. I go for Slash again, and it nearly takes me out, but it went down pretty easily. Next up was another Bianca battle, and she starts with a Herdier that has Intimidate, but it goes down in one slash. Next up is her starter Duat, and it goes down into slashes before it can actually do anything to me. Next up is Muna, and I just go for slash again and take it down pretty easily before it can do anything to me. And next up is Spazir, which also goes down before it can do anything to me. Next up is another Charon Battle, and we have to go against Pidove here. Pidove couldn't do anything to me. I just go for slash, and I get hurt by Sandstorm that's constantly going on. His Passage also goes down pretty easily. Next up is his Big Knight, but it goes down to one slash before it can actually do anything to me, even though it's now a fighting type. And last but not least is his Leopard, which also goes down in one slash. Next up we have to battle N again, and he starts off with the Sandile. We go for slash and we take it down before it can actually do anything to us. Next up is Craggy, which is actually a fighting type, but it goes down to one Crush Claw before it can actually do anything. Next up is Darumaka, and it goes down to one Crush Claw as well. Next up is a Sigilleaf, and it goes down to a Thief. It gets a Psybeam up, but it doesn't confuse me, so it barely does anything to me. Next up was Eliza, or Elisa. I have no idea how you say her name. And she starts off with a Molga, but it goes down to one slash before it can do anything to me. It does paralyze me with static though. Next, Emolga actually goes for Volt Switch, and Zipstriker comes out, but it goes down to one slash before it can do anything to me. And Emolga comes back out, and it goes for Volt Switch, but it can't switch into anything because the other two Mars are dead. And it goes down after a few more hits. Next up was another Charon Battle. He starts off with a Leopard that now has Fake Out. I just go for Slash Date and take it down with one hit before it can do anything. Next up was Passage. I just go ahead and use Slash again, and it goes down before it can do anything. Next up was Tranquil. Tranquil protected there, but after that it went for Quick Attack, barely doing any damage, and it went down really easily again. And last but not least is his Big Knight that goes down in one slash before it can do anything to me, because he's really slow. Next up was Little Clay, and he starts off with a Croc, and Croc does nothing before it goes down to one slash. Next up is Palpitoad. Palpitoad doesn't get to do anything either. Next up is Excadrill, which is actually really scary if it can do anything to me. I go for Crush Claw there, doing barely anything. He goes for the Bulldoze, nearly taking me out, but it goes down. He goes down to one more Crush Claw, and he's defeated. Next up we battle Bianca again, and she starts off with her deer with Intimidate again. We go for Slash, it doesn't take it out, but he goes for Takedown, doing some damage to himself, and the next Slash actually takes him down because it's a critical hit, ignoring Intimidate. Next up was Duat, who also survived a Slash. He did a little bit of damage to me. She killed him, but he goes down to another slash. And last but not least is a Panzer, or not last but not least, Panzer goes down to one Crush Claw. Last but not least is a Musharna that survives a hit. It doesn't do anything to me, and it goes down to another Crush Claw. So that's Bianca defeated pretty easily. Next up was another battle with N, and he starts off with a Boulder this time around. I know that I won't take him down. I'm actually not healed up here, so that could be a problem. But two slashes take down Boulder before it can actually do anything to me. Next up is Joltik. Joltik goes down pretty easily because it's pretty weak. And next up is Ferocid. That goes down to two slashes. I do get hurt by Iron Barbs, but it doesn't do anything to me. And last but not least is Clink, which is also a steel type, so it goes down to a slash and Crush Claw pretty easily. Next up was another gym battle, which was against Skyla. Skyla starts with a Swoobat. Swoobat goes down to a single X scissor pretty easily. Next up is Unpheasant. Unpheasant goes down to a Crush Claw, or nearly goes down to Crush Claw. She goes for a Whirlwind, but I only have a Zangoose with me, so that didn't work out. It goes down to another hit, and last but not least is Swana that goes down to a single Crush Claw. Next we have to battle Charon again, and we go for Crush Claw against his Unpheasant, taking it down pretty easily. Next up is Big Knight again, but it goes down to a Crush Claw before it can actually do anything to me. Next up is Simisage, and we go for Crush Claw, taking it down before it can do anything to me as well. And last but not least is a Liper that also has Fake Out, but it doesn't do anything besides that, and it goes down to a single Crush Claw. Next up is Bryson Battle, and we have to just spam Crush Claw and Slash, and we take him down pretty easily because his ice types are pretty weak defensively. His Betty could do a little bit of a damage to us, but he doesn't do anything. I do get confused here, I do hurt myself. He goes for his Icicle Crash, but he can't take me down, and his Cryogonal can't do anything to me either, and he goes down in one hit. Next up was another Bianca battle because we didn't have enough of them already. She starts with a Stoutland that has Intimidate like always, so we're going to be weaker for the entire battle. Which means that our Brick Break doesn't take him out in one hit, but another hit, after healing him up, takes him down. She does heal him up twice, but another hit actually takes him down before she can actually heal him again. Next up is her starter, Samurat. That goes down to a single Crush Claw that is actually a critical hit. I don't know if that crit mattered or not, but I'm glad that it went down with one hit only. Simiser goes down pretty easily with one hit only because it's pretty weak defensively. And last but not least is Musharna again. We go for X Scissor. She goes for Lucky Chant doing nothing, and we take it down with another X Scissor. Next up was another gym leader, which was Jaden, the last gym leader of the game. He starts off with a Fracture. I go for a Slash, taking it down before it can actually do anything to me. And next up is a Jordigon. I go for Slash. Rough Skin actually hurts me a little bit. He goes for Night Slash, doing barely any damage to me. He heals him up with Hyper Potion. I go for 2 more slashes, and it goes down before long. It actually gets healed up again. Rough Skin hurts me again, but he goes down to another slash before he can get healed up again. And last but not least is Haxorus. Haxorus is really dangerous if it could do anything to me, but it couldn't because I just went for slash and it was a critical hit, so it went down pretty easily. Next up was another Charon battle, and he starts off with an Pheasant again. We go for a Crush Claw. It barely doesn't take it out. It went for taunt. It went for Protect next turn, but after that I just went for another Crush Claw and taking it down pretty easily. Next up was Embor now, and he doesn't manage to survive a single Crush Claw because it was a critical hit. So it went down before it could actually do anything to me. Simisage falls to another X Caesar, and last but not least is Liepard again, and it goes down to one X Scissor because he no longer has Fake Out. Next up was Elite 4, so we went to Grimsley. Grimsley starts with a Scraggy, or Scrafty, not Scraggy. It goes down before it can actually do anything to me, because it's a fighting type. It could do a lot of damage to me, but it luckily didn't. I just spammed X Scissor through his entire team. His Crocodile went down to a single X Scissor, or to a few X Scissors after he got healed up, or she got healed up a few times. But she eventually went down before it could do anything to me. Next up was Bisharp, which went down to a single Brick Break because it's 4 times weak to Brick Break. Next up was Liepard. Liepard goes down with a single X Scissor after it gets the Fake Out, which was the only move it got up before it went down. Next up was Marshall, and I hated Marshall so much, especially after I did the rematch because I really wanted to battle Alder later. So yeah, his team are fighting types, and my Zangoose doesn't really like fighting types, so this one took a few tries both times, but he did eventually go down. His team could hit me really hard, but after a few tries, I did eventually get a run where I actually took him down. Before he could do anything to me, his stock and throw both have sturdy, which was really annoying. But after I broke through sturdy, I did manage to defeat him before he could actually do too much damage to me. But yeah, his fighting depths are pretty strong. I could overlevel here and get him after I overleveled, but I really didn't feel like doing that, so that was lucky. Next up was Caitlyn, which was refreshingly easy again because I just spammed X Scissor. And her Pokemon are really weak defensively anyways, so all of my moves did a ton of damage to them except for Brick Break, but X Scissor and Crush Claw did a lot of damage to them. And Gotitel comes up next. She doesn't do anything to me. She does have a Thunderbolt, I believe, that could actually paralyze me. But other than that, her team went down pretty easily before it can actually do any damage to me. And next but not least is Chantal. Chantal starts with Cofagrigus, so if I hit her, which I will, with Shadow Claw, she will give me Mummy. Which is a little bit annoying because I can now get poisoned. Next up is Golark, but it goes down to a single Shadow Claw. Next up is Chandelure. I go for a workup here, and then I go for a Shadow Claw. I do get burned there, but luckily workup gives me a little bit higher attack, so that burn doesn't affect me. And a single Shadow Claw takes down the Jelly Scent. Um, Next up we battle N. N starts off with a Zekrom, and I go for a a few workups here, so I can actually safely take him down. I did battle him with Reshiram, but I did let Reshiram and Zara both fade by throwing Pokeballs at Zekrom, so I could deposit Reshiram and then go through his team with a ZANGOOSE only. I did spam Slash on his next Pokemon, which was a Zoroark in disguise. Clink Clank went down to a single Slash too. Vanillux went down to a single Slash because Ice types are not really defensive like I said. Caracosta survives a Slash, but it goes down to another Slash before it can actually do anything to me. Next up is Archeops, and we just go for another Slash, and it goes down before it can do anything to me. Next up, we have to battle Getsis. Getsis starts with a Cofagrigus, and we go for Workup again because he protects the first turn. So I go for a few Workups, just setting up here. I'm not able to be poisoned luckily because I have immunity, which really helps me in this battle because his Cofagrigus loves spamming Toxic. We do get Mummy here. So if he has another Pokemon with Toxic, that's not good, but we go for Crush Claw on Hydreigon, taking it down pretty easily. Next up is Buffalont, and it goes down to a single Crush Claw again. Next up is Seismitoad, and it goes down to a single Crush Claw as well. Next up is a Bisharp, that also goes down to a... nearly goes down to Crush Claw. It does survive on one. It did manage to get a Night Slash off, but it barely did anything to me, and it gets Mummy, so another Crush Claw actually takes it down. And last but not least is Electros that goes down to a single Crush Claw. And next up we have to battle Other, so we start setting up on the Excelgor that actually has a Focus Blast that could do a lot of damage to me. So we just go for focus or for double team and Swords Dance, and then we just sweep through his entire team pretty easily with Return. Excelgor goes down, Drodigon goes down, or Drodigon, I have no idea how to say that thing's name. I do get caught by Rough Skin. Its Cavalier goes down to a single return. And Volcarona comes out, but it goes down to a single return. I do get burned by Flame Body, but I don't care at this point. Because I'm way too strong with my setting up. Buffalant can't stand the heat. And Vanilluxe is absolutely trash when it comes to defenses, so it goes down to a single return as well. So this was a pretty easy win. Like I said, Marshall gave me the most problems in this game, so this was a pretty easy and chill challenge I did, besides Marshall. But yeah, I enjoyed this game, I enjoyed this Pokemon, so this was pretty much really fun.